What's going on, everybody? Nate here with NuView Trust Company. Today is Wednesday. You know what that is? It's our Wednesday workshop. I got a real good friend and special guest on with us today. So I'm real excited to get to his portion of the presentation. But before we do that, let's just go through some quick announcements and just remind people about our Wednesday webinar. So first of all, thank you guys for the continued support. Those of you who watch this on a continuous basis, I don't think a day goes by without somebody saying, hey, I enjoyed the content. We're learning a lot. So we're going to try to get you guys fresh content every single week. And as part of that fresh content, we'd like to bring in special guest speakers like the one we have today, who's going to talk about how do you find off-market real estate deals. There's a lot of different ways people do it, but oftentimes one of the barriers to investing in real estate is actually finding deals. The easy part is finding money, but finding deals is the hard part. So we're going to hopefully alleviate that issue for you guys with the content that we're providing to you guys today. If this is your first time joining us, just a little background about NuView Trust Company. We are a licensed and bonded custodian of self-directed retirement accounts. We're based here in Longwood, Florida, but we have clients in all 50 states. We've been in the self-directed IRA space since 2003. We have 12,000 active investor clients who use their IRAs, old 401ks, old 403bs, all sorts of retirement accounts. And they use that through NuView to buy alternative assets like real estate. So why it's important today to talk about how you find real estate deals, because you can put real estate investments inside of an IRA, and there's a lot of tax advantages to doing that, but how do you find those deals? So currently, as of present day, we have about 1.7 billion in assets under management at NuView. So with that being said, we're not a new kid on the block when it comes to taking retirement accounts and buying real estate. We've seen every real estate investment known to man and probably processed it a couple hundred times. So if you're interested in using your retirement account to buy real estate, this is the place for you to be. But our guest is going to show you how to find real estate deals. So it's equally as important as knowing that you can buy real estate in an IRA. When I talk about buying real estate in an IRA too, again, for you newbies, is that you often hear about buying real estate in what's called a self-directed IRA. Now, that's not a type of IRA. IRAs are the same no matter where you go. An IRA is just an individual retirement account. And the rules for IRAs have been the same since 1974. You can own anything inside of an IRA outside of life insurance contracts and collectibles. So when you talk about owning real estate in an IRA, you don't need a quote self-directed IRA. You just need an IRA with a company like NuView that will allow you to direct your IRA to buy what's called alternative assets. Alternative assets are all types of assets. Real estate's just one of them. Promissory notes secured by real estate is another example of an alternative investment. Investments into small startup companies, oil and gas interests. The list goes on and on and on when it comes to the investment options. But before you get into the investment options, it's important to understand what types of accounts that can be self-directed. So even I got to remind our current clients too, that there's the 7 types of accounts that you can use to buy alternative assets like real estate. We see a lot of our clients buy real estate inside of their traditional or Roth IRAs. We have self-employed individuals that buy real estate inside of their SEP IRAs or their simple IRAs, or even their own individual 401k. I will make a point for those of you who are self-employed, you're probably already aware of this, but contribution deadlines are coming up for those of you who have some self-employment income. Reach out to my IRA specialist and talk to them about the advantages of maybe contributing those annual contributions to a self-directed SEP or a self-directed simple or a self-directed 401k. So if you're self-employed, if you're a real estate investor, you should know about how you can take those contributions that you're making annually, make them to an account that you can buy real estate in instead of stocks. And I'll have some contact information for you guys at the end of the show on how you can get a consultation from us on how to do that. But you can also own real estate inside of a health savings account, a Coverdell education savings account. We have 7 different accounts here just at NuView Trust Company that our clients use to buy and hold real estate. And the reason they do that is because they're looking for true diversification. They don't want to have all their eggs in one basket. They don't want to own just a bunch of stocks or mutual funds. But ultimately, they're also trying to eliminate taxes off of their investments. And one of the beautiful part about buying real estate in all 7 of these accounts is that you pay 0 capital gains tax as you buy and sell investments. So the ability to grow an account, a bucket of money faster in a tax exempt status like these accounts give you will enable you to keep more of your profit when it comes to real estate investments than you ever could trying to invest with your own money as a taxpayer. But ultimately, what you want to do, especially with a self-directed IRA where you have all the investment decisions, is understanding what you're investing in or investing in what you know best. I talk to real estate investors every day in this business, and even the most savvy real estate investors always get to a point to where they're having a hard time finding deals. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you find deals, because with a self-directed custodian, you have to find the investment, but finding the investment and using these accounts will eliminate taxation from your life. So a lot of benefits to this class that we're going to talk about today. Here's just some of the examples of the assets that we hold in that close to $2 billion under management. We have a lot of clients that own, obviously real estate. How they find it could be through foreclosures, could be from tax liens, tax certificates. They might raise money to buy apartment buildings or do stuff creative like real estate options or buying property subject to. There's really no investment strategy out there that you cannot do in a self-directed IRA. It's just all about, can you find the investment to hold within your IRA. But we have all alternative assets that are held here at NuView that are non-real estate related or real estate based. Lending is a popular investment. Investing in entities that might own real estate, or just investing in things like cryptocurrency. Those are all investment options that are allowed within a self-directed IRA here at NuView, but we're going to stick to the script and talk specifically real estate and talk about how do you find off-market real estate deals in today's market. And I've got one of the foremost authority figures on this subject, because he runs a company that helps investors find deals. And I have known this gentleman for almost a decade. I could say he is a great individual. He runs a great company. They're based out of Texas, but they are expanding their services and have been expanding their services to states outside of Texas. And the reason that I have him on today and on future workshops is because they are making a targeted focus to bring their services here to the state of Florida. So I just want to bring Steve Liang on. And Steve, you with me there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. So I could talk all the good stuff about you all day long, but I don't want to take too much time away from your presentation because I know you got some great slides. But I just want to say thank you for joining us. I know this is going to be super beneficial to anybody watching this live class or recording. So again, thank you for participating with us today.
Thank you, Nate, for your invitation, and thank you, NuView, for hosting this presentation. Really grateful to be here. And thank you for everybody for being here and learning about the off-market leads, off-market deals. So let's talk about real estate IQ. We are focused, our specialty is about finding the best deals on the market before anybody else. We specialize in deal finding. So this is our problem right now. For anybody that is kind of looking at the real estate market, housing inventory is at historic low. If we look at the national numbers, the months of inventory has been decreasing. You see on the left side of the chart going from 2018 and steadily decreasing in 2022. And if we look at the past 12 months, it has dipped all the way down to under 2 months on a national average. And it's coming back up a little bit, but it's still extremely low. For your reference, a standard, a balanced month of inventory is about 6 months. So we have 6 months of housing on the market. That's usually a very balanced month. The past couple of years, we're seeing the number of months of inventory is super low. And this means it's a seller's market. There's just not a lot of houses on the market right now. if we take a look at the major Florida markets, we just did this research. This is fresh research. Jacksonville, 1.4 months. Miami, 2.2 months. So we're much, much lower than national average. And if we look at Orlando, less than 1 month of inventory. Tampa, 1.7 month. So this is a huge issue. I got a couple of more research here in Sarasota. We're looking at 0.7. And Manatee, 0.6. When people are talking about weeks of inventory instead of months, man, we know we have a problem in the inventory problem. So I like this to be a very interactive presentation. So if everybody can share on the chat, where are you located? Just kind of wanting to know where everybody is and how hot your market is. Can we take a minute and everybody share a little bit of where you are? Thank you. Okay, so let's see, we have Orlando, South Orlando, Alabama, Dallas. Dallas is also extremely hot. Last I checked, I just checked this on Monday. I think we're at 1 point some months. I don't have the exact number now. San Antonio, super hot. Hawaii on fire. You know, the real estate market is just on fire right now. And I think that's why we're here. We want to learn about how to find deals. Natural question, you know, with such a low inventory on the market is how can we find more inventory? You know, the answer is not in the properties that are on the market. Those properties are commanding huge, extremely high prices. A lot of folks have to pay over market, over asking in order to acquire the property. The answer is to get off-market deals. If you can get the deal from off-market, then you can sell it on the market and you can stand to make a big profit. Oh, we have Maryland, we have San Diego, Broward County. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so to share with you a little bit about Real Estate IQ, we are #1 in deal finding in the sense that we specialize in data mining. And I'm going to take this opportunity to share a little bit about the importance of data in terms of finding off-market deals. The key reason is that a lot of these deals, we want to get to them first. And when it comes to off-market deals, it's usually, everybody wants it. It's a very lucrative type of deal. And so the sooner you can get to the deal, the more advantageous you're going to be. So when it comes to finding data, you know, I would like to share this, you know, when it comes to any kind of deal finding tools or deal finding data. The first question you should be asking is how fresh is your data? The second question you should be asking is, do you own your data or do you have a third-party data? And so here, you know, with Real Estate IQ, we focus on mining our own data. We have, you know, ever since we started, we recognize the power of data. Data is the new oil. And if we have firsthand data, we can control the accuracy and the quality of the data. So we own all the data that we share in the off-market leads part. And we have 12 different types of motivated sellers. So depending on what kind of acquisition strategy, you know, what type of off-market leads you want to focus to, we have the answer for you. Then we also have the CRM integration, which is a new pilot product. We are releasing this as an introductory pricing. And what we do is we push all these off-market leads into the CRM. So now you can push a lot of outbound marketing to your CRM. And then we also have skip tracing that finds out the contact information of these motivated sellers, and also a fast CMA that lets you do valuation on these properties in selected markets right now. And we would love to connect and partner with folks that can get us to put fast CMA online in Florida. So off-market deals, what the heck is off-market deals and why? An off-market deal are deals that are not listed on the MLS. And if I could take a moment to kind of just talk about the overall landscape of how real estate properties come about and go on the market. So if we kind of look at it from a macro point of view, people get married, people die, people get into financial issues and they have trouble. There are many reasons of why a seller or a homeowner would want to sell their property. And so when we're looking at, this whole group of potential sellers, real estate agents want the information, and so they're marketing to these folks. Investors are also interested in these because we can turn them into off-market deals. So we're also interested in marketing to these folks. If the real estate agent win in this kind of marketing battle, they would be putting them on the market. And on the other side, if you have really fresh data and you have kind of the best information, you can reach these motivated sellers before the agents and before anybody else, and you can turn them into off-market deals. And typically for off-market deals, you have much less competition because not everybody can have access to this data. It's kind of a niche type of data. And in general, you get to have direct negotiation with the seller, and you can also get a deeper discount. And these sellers tend to be very motivated to sell their property. So you have a lot of negotiation power when it comes time to interact and negotiate with them. So there are three kind of what I call three categories of reaching out and finding these off-market leads. Number one is we do marketing for the seller to contact us, and that's called inbound marketing. We are, doing all the marketing techniques, reaching out to them and get them to call us, right? So that's the first way is to market for the seller to contact us. The second one is called outbound marketing, where we are finding the motivated sellers. We figure out what their contact info is, and we can contact them directly, either through voicemail, drop voicemail, or direct voicemail. It could be texting, or it could also be emails, phone calls, or whatnot, and we can reach out to them. The best combination tends to be a combination of both. We want to reach out to them. We also want to kind of do marketing on them, so they want to reach us. And then obviously you can also buy from wholesalers. So ways of market for off-market leads. So I want to I guess take this moment to share, if you have a notebook or some kind of scratch paper with you. These are all the really high producing ways, the best ways of marketing for these deals, and we're going to be sharing with you a series of techniques here. So it will be really good that you take notes on here. The first one is band designs. So I'm sure if you drive around your local market, you will see sometimes, especially over the weekend, you see these signs popping up everywhere. You will see, folks that will say, "I buy houses for cash," or "cash for houses," and with a phone number. These are bandit signs. It may not be legal to in your local area to put out the bandit signs. There are also loopholes. Some investors have found that certain time and certain period is okay to put out the bandit signs. So please make sure you check out your code enforcement in your local city. But let me tell you this: if you're seeing some signs that's happening in your local neighborhood, most likely these folks have found a loophole to put up bandit signs. So this is just eyeballs, right? You're putting the signs. How many cars would drive by this street, and you get that impression and you get the phone number here so that people will call, and that would be a inbound marketing. After you put this out, they will be reaching out to you to if they are in trouble and they need cash for their houses. So very, very effective way, bandit signs. The next one is called driving for dollars. So this is a really good way to build a unique prospect list that nobody would have, because you are the one that is driving and coming up with the list yourself. This is your unique prospect list, and this is your kind of proprietary list. Folks that may not have, most folks are not gonna get a list like this unless they are driving around like you. And so what we're looking for are, a couple of distressed signals, such as if they have tall grass on the lawn and it hasn't been mowed for a while. Usually that tends to happen to folks that are more distressed. They either can't pay for a company to mow their lawn, or they don't even have the time to mow the lawn, or some kind of overgrown landscape or whatnot. Just kind of some signs of either the owner is not taking care of it, or the owner is not capable of taking care of it. So these would be some signs of either the owner is either not living there and they're not taking care of the property. So a really good a reason to find out who they are, where they live, and reach out to them and see if they need to get rid of their home or get rid of their house. Or it could be someone who's actually living there, but they're in financial distress, and or whatever distress that they're in. So they would be motivated to sell. So driving for dollars, also a very popular way to acquire leads. Another one is when you see pile-up mail or boarded houses like this. And also, get very good at talking to neighbors and driving around, just kind of get some information about, some of these homes. A lot of times you may either get some information of this house that you're looking at, or you may get some information about another house in the same neighborhood on another street that may be in this kind of condition. So it's about, very kind of grassroots approach, just talking to folks and getting information of these distressed properties. The next one is a little bit a higher initial investment, where you can put up billboards that says "We buy houses." These would typically range from a couple of thousand a month. You might be able to get it for a little bit less if you can find some billboards where it's not being rented out right now, and you might be able to negotiate for a better deal. You can also run radio ads and TV commercials if you are kind of in the category of you need to acquire a set number of property. Let's say your goal is to acquire 10, 15, 20 properties a month. These are kind of the billboards that would fit your goals and your marketing budget. Next, we have look for these FSBOs, for sale by owners. A lot of times the folks where they don't want to sell through the agents and pay a big commission. They want to do for sale by owner. So a couple of sources where you can drive around and look for these signs. I see these signs all the time when I'm driving around. And also you can look up Zillow, Craigslist, FSBO.com. There's a lot of websites where they try to facilitate these type of listings, and you can find for sale by owners. And this is also another way for you to directly reach out to these owners who are motivated to sell. So the next one is called networking. Networking is huge. If you can build a very strong network, you can get a lot of deals from this network. So this is about very strategic about where, what kind of group you want to join, what associations you want to join, what kind of network you want to build, and getting very strategic about the folks that you want to meet. So let's go down this list. Bird dogs are people that they're doing the driving for dollars, and they are looking for these type of deals to sell to a buyer, for a fee. So if you can meet these bird dogs, the bird dogs can can basically help you broaden your search, because all of them are looking for deals, and if you can connect with them when they have a deal, they will call you. Now, of course, they will also call other people. So make sure you have a tight network and you have a lot of them. And again, when you're doing it yourself, you have firsthand data. And if you are doing it through somebody else, they may also share this information with other folks. So it's about how quickly you can act on it. But again, when you have a network effect, you have constant, a deal and prospects, that's a really good place to be. So make sure you, one way to network with folks is to go to a real estate investment association events. And also a NuView also organizes face-to-face events in your local area. I'm sure there's a lot of meetups that are popping up now. You want to start going to these events and meet with folks in person. Just exchange business cards, usually, and then maybe arrange for a coffee meeting or something like that, so you can build a connection and start going from there. Okay, next, mailmen. They are experts in the neighborhood. They probably know the neighborhood better than the homeowners themselves who live in the neighborhood. Because they walk all the paths, right? They walk all the roads. They visit every home, so they know which houses are kind of absentee owner or have any kind of distress signals. So buy them lunch, buy them a coffee, and kind of share with them what you're looking for and how you plan on compensating them. They will also be a very good source for finding these off-market deals. Delivery drivers are also, very similar issues as mailmen. Lawn care, trash pickup. So these are very kind of grassroots type of approach of working with folks that know what's going on in the neighborhood and they see it. So those are kind of your boots on the ground and your eyes on the, trying to find a phrase that rhymes. Please help me out. Boots on the ground and eyes on the something, and then I'll use that phrase in the future. And then attorneys are also really good sources as well. Divorce attorneys, they know who are getting through a divorce. And a lot of times when you're going through a divorce, you gotta sell the asset, and so they could be a really good source of off-market deals that nobody else have. Bankruptcy attorneys, probate, and also your favorite real estate agent. They may have some pocket listings before it goes on the market that they can share with you, so you can reach those. Oh, so we have more, CPAs, title companies, bails bondsmen. Those are all folks that can kind of understand, some potential distress signal where people would need to sell the home. So as long as you have a good kind of compensation plan that you can offer them, they can offer you those prospective deals, so you can get those deals. So those are what I just kind of went over are something that you want to continuously build up so that you have a very strong network that can continuously bring you those potential deals. It takes time, and it's a very organic approach. So, while you're building that, there are ways to also kind of jumpstart your deal finding process. So here we go. The first one is, and these are kind of outreach, outbound type of marketing. A very effective one would be direct mail. Typically you would be looking at about 2 to 3% type of response rate. It requires a consistent effort and a long-term mindset when it comes to mailing. So think about this. When we're getting mails, we get a lot of marketing ourselves for, I don't know, lawn care, AC repair, and so on and so forth. Sometimes if I have the need, I already threw away the poster, and whatever discount that they offer, I can't take advantage of it because I only got the mail once. So it's about being consistently, having those mails and having very strong graphics and branding, if possible, to stand out from the rest, so that you can be on top of their mind and being able to kind of consistently send a mail to them, so you're always on their mind. A typical approach, folks tend to do a monthly mail approach, and just the same kind of design, or maybe you can vary a little bit of the marketing message, but similar design, similar logo, and do it on a consistent basis. Do it for 90 to 180 days, so 3 to 6 months. If you want to have a good result, don't just like send out once and then, nobody got back to me. It doesn't work. It requires a constant approach or constant reminder. It takes typically about 17 follow-ups to make a sale. So think about, from a direct mail standpoint, how many touches do you want to have in terms in order to get results? So, you need at least 6 touches, in general. And the general rule of thumb for sales is that you need about 17 touches to close. I forgot what the percentage now, to close a big percentage of the people that you market to. So, don't get discouraged, just consistency. And typically, if you can do a direct mail approach along with some other approaches, different kinds of impression and different types of touches to the same person, then you're going to get a very nice targeted and a much higher conversion rate. So many different ways of reaching out to them. You can have postcards, you can send out yellow letters or professional looking letters, greeting cards, multiple touches, multiple varieties of getting attention. And I would also highly recommend being able to kind of track your conversion rate and what type have you used and what kind of result and outcome you have. You can track it very easily with a spreadsheet. So use a experiment type of mindset. Like, let's try this in a limited budget and see what works. Oh, this works. This is what I learned. This thing works and this thing doesn't work. So now let me go back and tweak it. So kind of I always recommend that when it comes to marketing, use a different type of approach and use different type of marketing messages. Just keep testing and keep testing and keep testing. The deals are there. You just gotta figure out what's the best approach to make it happen. Your job is to figure out the right formula. People, everybody has their own kind of formula and recipes and ideas, and they can kind of share with you, what has worked in their market. But I think it's also very important that you take that and keep tweaking it until you figure out the recipe for your own market and your own neighborhood that you are focusing on. Another thing I would say is that keep changing, because the market changes all the time. So, always, you gotta always be tweaking. So the effectiveness of the campaign typically would depend on the quality of the list. This is where I kind of what I shared in the beginning, where I talked about the data. It's about the freshness of the data. It's also about the quality of the data, so that you can get, if you have really strong data, you will have a much better chance of having a strong effectiveness of your campaign, a strong outcome. Make your deal. So a couple of examples, like this example, they just highlighted the corner of the mail, and it's handwritten. So when you do handwritten mail, it's more personal. People are more likely to open your mail. It captures attention, quickly when you have kind of the nice highlighted colors. Let's see. Okay, so let's move on. A couple of more people to know about off-market deals are the folks that work in the real estate industry, foundation professionals. Like that's usually some problem with the house, roofers, pocket listings, and wholesalers. You should also start looking at garage sales, estate sales. Burnt houses can be a really good source. So if you drive around the neighborhood and you see a burnt house, that's a distressed property for sure. And then we already talked about networking. Okay, let's continue. From a print standpoint, business cards. Make sure you have your own business card with your company design and phone number, email address already there. So there are ways for people to reach out to you. You may want to, let me put it this way. I think it is tempting to use a personal email address for your business card versus a company address. I would strongly advise you, if you're serious about the deal finding type of business, if you're serious about your business, really have a company name and have your company domain. It's not that expensive. If you're going to invest in printing out business cards, you may as well do it right. Get your company name. You may not need a website set up yet, but at least your domain name where you can receive those emails. So now all of a sudden you have a much more professional look and feel to what you do, and it gives a lot of legitimacy to your business cards. A lot of times when I see folks that have a like a Gmail or Yahoo.com email address for their business card, it just it shows off. It comes off as not as professional as it should be. So just something to keep in mind. When you have that business card, then you can start getting referrals from other folks. Some people would put their contact information on one side of the business card, and on the other side, they would have some kind of verbal kind of message that says that, hey, if you, I'll pay you for referrals or whatnot. So you have that reminder, and then you can get those referrals. So a couple of referral ideas, people needing to move because they have to change jobs. 2021 is shaping out to what they call the Great Reset. Last year, I think it was called the Great, it's the pandemic, of course, and the Great Resignation. And this year is the Great Reset. Everybody is kind of resetting, jump-starting their career, for example. So there's a lot of folks that are changing their jobs and they have to move. So that's a big trend that we can jump on top of. Another one is the folks that have to cover their medical bills. One type of data that we mine is called medical liens, where there's a lien on the property because of the medical bills that they couldn't pay for. So we have those liens as well. And then also here we have folks that are behind on their mortgage payments. So all those are kind of signals where they're motivated to sell. Next, get a pre-foreclosure list, attend your foreclosure auctions. There's sheriff sales, divorce. I already mentioned that divorce is a big source of folks that need to sell the assets. You want to look for filings, eviction filing. This is also a big trend where the eviction moratorium was just ruled as I don't know what the right word to use now, but they got thrown out. So there's gonna be a lot of evictions coming. We're gonna be seeing potentially a lot of eviction filings, and these are the landlords that, that couldn't evict, and they have to kind of eat the losses, over all these months, they're distressed. So you want to reach out to the landlord. And then you also have tax and mortgage delinquencies. So more ways to find off-market leads. You want to look at probates. Probates are basically probate filings are basically when somebody died and they have a real estate property. We're only mining those. If they have a real estate property and that property gets to be basically inherited by either a grantee, one beneficiary, or it could be a group of beneficiaries. Typically, this is a big signal that they would want to sell the property. Some of them may decide to keep the house and rent it out. Become a more or less an accidental landlord. But if you kind of just keep them on your follow-up list, maybe over time they realize that, man, being a landlord, it's not that awesome. This is not what I want to focus in. So they would be interested in selling, months later, a year later, a couple of years later, or they may want to just cash out and kind of divvy up the properties right now, divvy up the capital gains right now. There's also co-violation. So we talk about driving for dollar and looking for houses that have tall grass. There's also, the city also kind of drives around and look for houses that have a structure that don't fit code, or if they have tall grass, and give them a citation. So that's also a way to kind of leverage the city's resources to find these motivated sellers. And then there's also properties, if they have recently have their water shut off, that's also a really strong distressed signal. So we also start offering this data now. All right. Now, we're talking about offline methods. Okay. I believe that the future is in online, and actually not just online, but in the combination of online and offline. So if we can kind of create our marketing channel and the structure where we can both get deals on offline, what we just discussed earlier, and from online, then I think we can have a really good synergy, and we can get endless deals. So the first channel would be social media. A lot of folks would post ads, and also they can search for properties that are for sale and directly contact the seller. I can have another class just talking about marketing in general, but in general, you want to kind of target market these folks on social media. So you can post ads, right? But you can also, find people that are already distressed if you have a data source, and do targeted ads that are focusing on these people. The ad follows them, and the ad follows them. And then also think about putting some effort in creating some kind of online resource. For example, if you're trying to target a distressed seller that has some kind of financial distress, it may make sense to create some kind of ebook or some kind of online resource where people can learn how to get out of the financial distress. So you give them some content and some methods of getting out of it. Some people would be very thankful in the resource that you offer. Some folks, maybe they're already kind of past that point. So they need help. And because they just kind of learned this from you, they see you as a subject matter expert. So they will also want to reach out to you and see, or maybe they think they can still go through this method, and they will reach out to you. So I think the idea is to kind of give value, focus on helping the person. If you can help them get out of their situation, and even if you don't get the house, you earn a lot of goodwill, and then over time, maybe they will also refer their friends to you too. So social media, and what I talked about, kind of offering online resources, that will apply to each of these channels too. So you go to online auction websites to find these houses that are ready for sale. And let me also, before I go further, let me offer this. Advice is that if you're looking for houses that are already for sale, you usually need to compete with multiple potential buyers to buy the house. Whereas from a marketing standpoint, if you are investing your resources, investing your time or whatnot to create some of these online resources, these are the folks that would get nurtured by your own channel, and a lot of times, you would kind of be the only buyer because you already have gained a lot of trust in their mind. They have been consuming a lot of your resources and your content and your expertise, and they already see you as a subject matter expert. So you're gonna have a much easier time because you're not the only buyer. Because in this case, you are kind of the only buyer. They want to work with you. You already built the trust versus on some of the other methods where you are in a multiple buyer kind of competition. You don't have a lot of negotiation power in that case, and you may not get the best pricing for your deal. So consider, investing in your marketing. From a business standpoint, at a certain point, we started, investing a lot of time and resources in creating the marketing material. I remember, working, when I wake up all the way to when I go to sleep, it was creating all these marketing campaigns and creating content and putting all that stuff in place. So it would start generating for us. So it's a very it's kind of an intensive investment, but it's really worth it when you start having a online channel that consistently generates a traffic for you. A lot of what we discussed before this slide, it's offline, more grassroots. You got to be there in order to get the deals. Over here, if you can kind of create a system that's automated, you can be taking a nap or sleeping, and there could be leads that comes to you, and that's an opportunity. So this kind of marketing infrastructure, I would highly recommend building that. That's how you can start creating scale for your business. Okay, so website, drive traffic to your website. Obviously, you need to build a website first. You can do PPC, means pay per click. So you are doing, kind of Google ads, and there are ways for the ads to follow. And then people can see the ad and then they click on it. Typically, you can sell them right away, but I would recommend a nurturing route where you bring them to your website and consume your resources so that you're giving them a lot of value, and then it's very easy for you to get in touch with them. Social media and website link, talking about printed marketing media when the mail, the letters, and the business cards, kind of having all these information where people can also access your website. That adds another level of credibility to what you do. So kind of my, I would say kind of the fruitful thought here is that, marketing is a step-by-step approach. We have shared many different ways of outreach and getting these deals. It's about building it one step at a time. So I hope you have taken really good notes and start thinking about which one you can do right away, which one is going to take a little bit more time, and start prioritizing what you're going to do first, and start thinking about, okay, I'm serious about this. So I want to start committing to, this method, and I'm going to start doing this. And in the next 90 days, I'm going to have this much in place. In the next 90 days, I'm going to have this much in place. So you all in a sudden, within, 3 to 6 months, you have a marketing kind of infrastructure in place, and you can start enjoying a lot of deals. So there are also, I guess to kind of end this particular point here is to be very creative it also requires a lot of rework. You do something and then you add another piece and go, okay, let me add this into everything that I have built so far. And then now I have a much more well-rounded marketing engine. So you're constantly building the engine. So okay, there are so kind of moving on to the next slides. I want to kind of share with everybody that there are multiple approaches to here. There is a marketing approach. I highly recommend that everybody that wants to acquire properties on a consistent basis start building that marketing engine. It takes time to build, and once it's built, it will always help you acquire deals. On the other side, some of you may be going, hey man, I want immediate action. I want to close a sale right now. So what do I have to do to get my first deal? Bam, in my first 90 days. And then I would get a lot of attraction in building this marketing engine. So we're gonna skip this slide. So for those who want immediate traction, I would recommend getting a list of our motivated sellers. And usually you want to tackle the ones that are very, very urgent. Like they just they need a lifeboat or they need a lifesaver right now. And a very popular list would be the pre-foreclosure list. These are the folks where their property is gonna get auctioned off, next week or next month. And they have a huge urgency. So if you are able to kind of reach out to those and turn them into deals, you can get traction very quickly. Another way that we have added that allows you to create your outbound marketing very quickly is to do an on-demand skip tracing for these property owners. So you can get their phone numbers, email address, and a lot of information about these owners. So now when you're doing your outreach for them, man, they already need a solution. So these are the folks that need help right away, and you can get quick results. We also offer the other kind of list where you can kind of nurture them. So this is for folks that are a little more nurture minded and you want to build a marketing engine. So you can start nurturing these lists and create, content and create things where they meet and slowly build up that trust. And then you can kind of marry the two. And then now you have a really awesome marketing engine where you can get a lot of deals. Okay, so this is the main content for our presentation. We hope everybody likes it. We want to offer everybody a free in-depth consultation on our Real Estate IQ services and our data, so you can see how powerful all this information is. Remember, when it comes to data, you should be asking, how fresh is the information? And is this a first-hand data? So, a lot of times when you get data, it's stale. It's got bought and sold by so many times. When you get that information, sometimes if you're gonna put a lot of effort in, that kind of data, it's a waste of your efforts, right? Because it's not fresh. It's not, you don't even know where the data comes from. So here you can understand the freshness of our data. We have the freshest data in the industry, so we give you the best opportunities as well. And you can learn, how exactly it works, so you can apply that to your deal finding business. All you have to do is to type up this link, realstateiq.co/demo, or type demo on the chat, and we will set up a 30-minute consultation with you. This is worth $50 of value, so we want to offer that to you for being here today. We also have a special discount for NuView clients. If you are ready to sign up, for those of you who are active acquisition investor, man, you're in acquisition mode already, you can utilize our product. So hit NT10 and you can sign up right away for a 10% discount. We also have our customer service hotline where we pledge a 2-hour response. We just actually updated and have a really strong team, and we're renaming customer service to customer success. So we want to help you find a lot of success in your deal finding journey. We want to give you a lot of support and help you make the deals happen. So I think with that said, we're almost ready for questions. So a couple more things. We have these events coming up. You can check out our event at realesateiq.co/event and look at the webinars. So you can learn a lot. We want to give you a lot of information. We want to give you a lot of data, a lot of support to help you find deals. Finally, you can also follow us on realesateiq.co. Thank you, guys.
Awesome, Steve. Before we take questions, and I'll remind people, if you guys have questions about Steve's PowerPoint slides and how you can find some deals, type those into the chat box now, and I'll relay those to Steve. Steve, thank you so much. I actually made a couple notes, and I just want to relay this to the audience. A lot of the things, I actually have stories on some of this stuff. When you mentioned using your delivery services, mail, UPS drivers, I actually have a client that found some deals by actually offering his UPS driver a referral fee, because the UPS driver was driving around and round and round neighborhoods. And who better to find the properties with the overgrown grass and the mail piling up than the guy that's driving around the neighborhood, guy or gal driving around the neighborhood. So he used to pay a referral fee for deals that he would close to his UPS driver. And then his UPS driver ended up becoming a real estate investor because he basically was forced to be a bird dog. So that there's nothing truer about that statement. I'll also, some of the other things that I know, because I talk to a lot of real estate investors, are always saying, hey, Nate, I know you guys don't sell investments in NuView, but how do I find investments? Besides the stuff that Steve mentioned is, always rub elbows with the people at your local RIAs too. The local RIAs are going to be a great place for you to find off-market deals, especially in Florida. They're really active RIAs out here. I was just at the CFRI meeting last night with Greg Bond. There was about 30 investors, active investors in there, and that's CFRI. If for those of you who are interested, that's Central Florida Real Estate Investors. There's Go RIA, which is the Greater Orlando Real Estate Investor Association. There's the Sarasota RIA. There's DRIA out in Miami. There's the Jacksonville RIA. There's the Tampa Bay RIA. We'll put these in the comment section of our Facebook page if you want to follow links to maybe join some of those RIAs if they're in your area. But that's a great place to find off-market deals outside of everything that Steve mentioned. And, just rubbing elbows in. And I also have a good friend, Al Nicoletti, for those of you who are interested in a Florida-based probate attorney. I will tell you, he's going to be a guest on our show in October. So it all kind of springboards. So everything that Steve mentioned, we've got kind of a springboard to other, ancillary, services that you guys might find useful, whether it's your local RIAs or attorneys. And we'll even tag Al Nicoletti in the comments as well. So any questions for Steve that you guys have, and while they're typing questions, Steve, any final thoughts or anything that you can think that you want to add?
I saw a question here about getting a copy of the slides. I don't know, what would be a best way for us to do that?
I could just we just kind of mentioned that if they want copies of your slides specifically, they can just shoot you an email if you're cool with that. People can also, if anybody registered through Zoom, you also get a copy of the recording. We polish it up for you first and send it out about a week afterwards. So you're always going to, if you register for a class, you don't necessarily have to attend live. You'll always get a copy of the recording. You can also always go back to Facebook. These are filmed live via Facebook Live, but as soon as we conclude it, it's basically there forever on Facebook. And then we also, after we clean it up, we put it on our YouTube channel, which links to our education resource page. So there's so many places that you can find the recording if you miss it. But if you want the slides specifically, you can email Steve. Another thing that I wanted to mention too, again, you made a lot of great points, Steve, is a lot of these deals that you might find, when it comes to past due property taxes, past due mortgage payments. Steve mentioned it, people that are in a difficult situation, pre-foreclosures. A lot of these investments are phenomenal IRA investments. And what I mean by that is you might run into a situation where somebody's past due on their mortgage payments, past due on their property taxes. And at that point, it's not the house that's the issue, it's the mortgage company that's the issue, or it's the county assessor that's the issue. And in order to help solve that problem, what creative real estate investors do is they go in and they negotiate some creative terms where maybe they come in and they just catch up the past due mortgage payments in exchange to get the property deeded to them. It stops the foreclosure, it gets the bank happy, and you're able to come into and negotiate an investment where it's already got underlying financing on it. You don't have to pay all cash for these types of deals. Same thing with past due property taxes. I've seen investors even, use the option of a real estate option contract, right? You give consideration to maybe the homeowner in exchange for the first right to buy their property. So if you're a really good creative real estate investor, finding these difficult situations and being the problem solver to that situation could enable you to take title to property with very little out of pocket. And if you're coming in with very little out of pocket, but it's a long-term investment that might take a little bit of time to flourish and see some positive net results, man, those are great investments for your IRA. That's an IRA investment all day. Just put it on the shelf. Let a tenant pay off the underlying financing. Let a tenant pay off the current loan on the property. And I see so many investors, beginning investors, pass on the deals because there's no equity. They just said there's no equity, so I'm not going to buy it. Man, those are great investments, equity or not, if they're cash flow, flow opportunities where the rents in the area exceed the mortgage payment. And you're going to see a lot of this, by the way, guys, with the rent moratorium. We don't know when it's going to happen, but you're going to start seeing a flood of these situations where people can't come up with the past due mortgage payments that they've been accumulating. So set yourself up for success. There's nothing wrong with, setting up a self-directed IRA to get ready for these opportunities and doing those types of investments, both inside and outside of an IRA. And if you can use the services that Steve provides you as well, again, you're going to find deals. I like how Steve mentioned it. You don't want to just find these deals. You want to find them first. So, great stuff there. Looks like there's some king. Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying data is king.
Data is king, right? And I was thinking of so many quotes. You were saying data is king, and it also reminded me of the person that has the gold makes the rules, I think is another quote. Yeah. So if you've got the data, you've got the gold, right? And if you're the first in, most of the time, if you're the first in, and you can offer a solution to that homeowner in that difficult situation, or you just find the deal first, the chances of you getting that deal are much, much higher. One of the deals that I've done in my IRA is we were a lender on a deal where a client, basically an investor, found it the same way. They were driving for dollars. They identified a property because the grass was overgrown. You could tell nobody mowed this grass for at least a year. And it was in a rough area of town where maybe there weren't too many investors, driving this neighborhood, but he drove the neighborhood, saw this property. It met all those check marks that you mentioned, Steve. It had grass overgrown, the gutter was falling down, the mail was piled up, there were cracks in the concrete, so you could tell nobody was using the driveway. So he did some research on it, found out that the property was inherited, and the property owner lived in another state. So it was just a property that they inherited. They had no intention of doing anything with it. They just let it, go to the wayside. And he negotiated a really good deal to buy it for $55,000. And the ARV was 137. So we ended up with our IRAs doing a loan to that individual. So you don't even have to be the one to find the properties, but be set up to help other investors maybe lock up these deals. And that's what we did. We were just the lender on a deal like that, and it was found exactly the way that Steve mentioned it. So yeah, awesome. Let's see. So it looks like there's a lot of people that want to take the demo. So you guys keep typing in there. If you want the demo, type demo in there and reach out to Steve and Real Estate IQ directly. You've got their website. I want to introduce one other person too. Candela, if you want to take yourself off mute, if you can. I know you guys have an event that's coming up. That's probably something, everybody wants to check out. So can you talk a little bit about that event you got coming up?
Hi, Nate. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, of course. So on October the 2nd, we will having a big event. We are expecting over 500 people. We are partnering with NuView as a main sponsor, and we will be talking about everything relating deal finding. We will have experts on Airbnb, wholesaling, fix and flip, deal finding, digital marketing. So next week, we're going to be sharing all the registration so that you can sign up as special guest for our big event, and we expect to see you there.
Awesome. And we'll also add this event to our website as well. We have an education resource page. If you use that QR code there, if you scan that, that goes directly to our content. And if you go to our webpage, on our education resource page, we have places where you can register for upcoming workshops, but we also have a place where we put events that we're sponsoring, and we'll add that event to our website, so you guys have a direct access to that through us as well. So thank you, Candela, for that. Just a couple final announcements for you guys. If you are in the area of Central Florida, again, our office is based right here in Longwood, Florida, which is about 15 minutes north of Orlando. And we are getting back to live classes. We're going to do our live classes every third Thursday of the month. And the first one is going to be this third Thursday, September 16th. And we're going to talk about how to make big bucks in small accounts. If you're in the area, come to the event. There's going to be great networking. We're actually going to start at 6. We'll start networking at 6. We'll network to 6:30, and then we'll do a quick presentation about different strategies. A lot of it is going to be based on the strategies that Steve kind of touched on, is basically when you find a deal, what are some creative strategies investors use to take those deals down? It'll be a great networking opportunity. There's going to be food. There's going to be beverage. If you're not in the area, don't worry. We are going to live stream it. But I would say if you are in the area, don't sit back on your couch and watch it, because you're going to miss the whole networking aspect to it. So you can also register for that event on our website as well. And then one more thing is we are running a promo. This actually, we're going to extend this to the end of September. We just got a lot of people that want to establish accounts, especially if you're setting up employer plans and things where you're trying to make those last minute contributions before your tax filing deadlines. We're going to extend this actually out to the end of September. And our 50/50 promo, what that is normally our accounts are $50 to establish. We're waiving that. We're cutting that upfront cost off. So there's no application fee for setting up as many accounts as you want. But we're also adding $50 to your accounts in the form of a fee credit. So not only do you get to open the account for free, but you also get a $50 fee credit towards future fees when you start investing through your self-directed IRA. So if you want to open a self-directed traditional, a Roth, a SEP, a simple, a 401k, an ESA, an HSA, now's the time to do it. Reach out to my IRA specialist if you want a free account or you want the 50/50 promo. So I want my free account, and email that to IRA specialists with an S at NuViewTrust.com. That's IRA specialists at NuViewTrust.com. And again, we're extending that promo out to the end of September. So take action on that as fast as you can. So that is it for the presentation. If you have, if they have more questions, Steve, where can they direct questions if they think about it, or if somebody's watching the recording, where can they send those questions?
Yeah, feel free to email me at steve.liang@realestateiq.co. And also, I want to say, Nate, that's a really good deal. The 50/50 deal is a really good deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's free money basically, right? So
Yeah.
Now's the time to do it, and time to get off the fence. And now that you have given them the information you have given them, that's equally as important, because we're only good as our clients are as investors. And when they have more resources to find investments, it's a win-win scenario for everybody involved. So again, thank you for that. And please, everybody, reach out to Steve, reach out to EstateIQ, check out their website. These guys are like far beyond most, any deal finder that I've found. Their technology is clean. Their lists are fresh. Their data is the freshest out there. So, and now that they're coming to Florida, you're going to see Steve, you're going to see EstateIQ in a lot more, not only NuView events, but you're probably going to start seeing them at local RIAs and things like that. So, and definitely check out their event coming up, and we'll have that on our website as well. So again, thank you, Steve. Thank you, Candela. And we look forward to talking to you guys soon.